Welcome to this week's first edition of Texas Tournament Talk. So just a little review who I am. My name's Cody Ryan Graney. I fish stuff all around Texas. Been fishing the Bassmaster Central Opens the last couple of years. I've fished some FLW Costas off and on, but just an absolute avid fan of bass fishing. I live in Central Texas, and here in Texas we are blessed with plenty of fishing opportunities right here in the great Lone Star State. So I figured, why not get into it? I do a weekly radio show called The Outdoor Zone. You can listen to it on iTunes, The Outdoor Zone. And I do that with my dad. Been doing it for 15 years, but it's an outdoor show. We talk hunting, fishing, outdoor adventure. And so I really can't dive into one of my biggest passions, tournament bass fishing. And we have plenty of it right here in Texas. I know there's a ton of podcasts, a ton of shows about tournament fishing already out there, but we don't have anything specific to Texas. So that's what we'll go through. We'll do some national highlights. It's inevitable. We'll have some wacky, weird news. I'll give some of my personal opinions from being an angler on the water. Maybe some of you agree. Maybe some of you will absolutely disagree. But they're my opinions. And I would love to chat with you. If you ever need to get a hold of me, you can find me on my social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram. You can email me, Cody@TexasOutdoorZone.com. And give me your thoughts. Also, I'll be asking for videos from you guys from the top 10 anglers in each one of these tournament trails. If you want to tell us how you caught them, if you're excited about catching them, and you just want to be a part of this video series, I would love for you to send me a little 30 to 60 second video snippet. So anyway, let's dive into it. The FLW Costa hit Lake Amistad just about a week ago, and I fished it. And I had my butt handed to me. But I was in the right area, had the right idea, come to find out, talking to a lot of the guys, maybe not Hanselmania good areas, but I was fishing some areas that had some fish, top 10 qualifiers, some buddies of mine that were fishing in the general vicinity and did real well. So it's a matter of getting those bites and getting them in the boat after you do. But Hanselmania, of course, wrecked shop. I mean, he had a pile of fish. He had some competitors nearby, and so he knew that on day one he really had to knock it out of the park, and that carried him through. He had enough fish to fill out a limit and go ahead and win that thing, but really that first day is where he ground it out and caught a mega bag, and much better than anybody else. Then we move into what just happened yesterday, finished up yesterday, the FLW Tour event on Sam Rayburn. And man, what a change. Not the names that we thought we would hear necessarily out on top. Not all of our Rayburn gurus hit it out of the park there. 7 to 9 feet. I heard reports of anywhere from up to 10 feet in some areas maybe. Of rising water, causing thousands and thousands of more acres of fishable water up in the woods. But the guys that really figured it out, really I think fish mainly out, which would be considered offshore with the water up. Really, it's probably fishing on the bank if the water's normal height, normal level. But they fish the traditional or the old bank lines, the old drains. And not so much of the newer water, I guess you would call it, if that makes sense. Terry Bolton, a name that's been in the fishing industry for 20 plus years, a name that's been a staple in the fishing industry, hadn't won a major event. And man, I love that he won yesterday. They postponed the final day because of winds. FLW seems to be taking a very precautious state. I don't blame them one bit when it comes to sending anglers out on adverse weather. Of course, that FLW Costa on Lake Amistad, they canceled day two, or was it day one? Day one, I guess, and we all fished a full Friday and Saturday. So they canceled day one Thursday because of bad weather predicted as well. So Terry Bolton came out yesterday, finished up on Monday, the top 10 fished yesterday, and Terry Bolton won that. I love to see that Nick LeBron, a name that's kind of new, but I think a rising star. If you keep an eye on that guy, he's been catching them. He's a very humble guy, loves the Lord, and man, I just admire his passion to spread the good word while he's out on the water and definitely catching fish. He's won the All-American last year, and that's a guy to keep an eye on too. But congratulations to Terry Bolton. I mean, you had the likes of Brian Thrift behind you, Jim Tutt, one guy that is a Rayburn stick or has been in that area for a long time, knows how to catch them on Sam Rayburn, and he made the top 5. Tom Reddington, another name here in Texas, made the top 5. Jordan Osborne, another Texas native. So love seeing those Texas guys up there. Maybe not some of the names you thought you'd see in the top 10, but a great way to start out the FLW Tour season in a new Rayburn. Really, this is your opportunity. This is your time. There's a lot of tournaments coming up to Sam Rayburn, always is, but this is an opportunity for a guy like maybe me that doesn't fish Rayburn to have a lot of confidence to go up and fish against those guys that have 50 years of experience on Sam Rayburn and know where 30,000 brush piles are. Maybe an opportunity to go up there and find a pattern, find a way to catch them, and do well on Sam Rayburn. So that's exciting. That's exciting for me, particularly. Bassmaster Elite Series. We all know the big mix-up with the with the Elite Series, MLF, FLW. We don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where it's going to go. And if somebody tells you they do know where it's going to go, they're I guess can see into the future. But we'll see how that all ends up, how it all plays out. But the Bassmaster Elite Series is doing a cool video series right now on their website of a lot of the Elite Series pros right now. A video for each of the new Elite pros that are going to be on tour this year, and just kind of getting to know them behind the scenes, kind of a look at who they are and what they're about. And I mean, I think I love that just as much as seeing them on Bassmaster Live or whatever. I love seeing who these guys are. You know, they're just us. They're just guys that just love to bass fish and love to fish tournaments. MLF, just to touch on MLF, I don't know when the first tournament is. I looked on the website. I probably could have dug a little deeper and found it, but it wasn't readily available. The first thing that popped up was Randy Howell winning the 2019 Summit Select Elimination Round number 2, which I don't think they fished yet this year, so I'm kind of confused as to how that's all playing out. I'm sure we'll learn it. We'll all learn it. We'll all figure out kind of how it plays. We know how the game's played, basically. If you pay attention to tournament fishing at all, you know that MLF catch-release style format. You catch as many fish as you can to a certain point, whatever that looks like. But I'm not quite sure how they're going to play this out, being that they're calling that the 2019 Summit Select Elimination Round, but it was filmed last year. So I'm not sure if we're going to see what they do this year, next year, or how that's all going to play out. But we'll figure it out. I assure you, I'm not bashing MLF or anything. It's just new. It's something that we got to learn. It's something that we're all going to be learning, and how that all works its way out. Moving into Texas, Bass Champs starts this weekend, Lake Amistad. I'll be there. I'll be there fishing. Come say hey if you're around. Come down and fish it. Lake Amistad, another one that's got a lot of new water. Of course, Ray Hanselman figured it out, but not necessarily all of the local guys are figuring it out yet. So a great opportunity for just the average angler that wants to get on the water. It's January. Tournament season seems to be cranking up in Texas already. And, I mean, we've had several tournaments already. This will be my third event in January, and January's not even half over. So Bass Champs starts this weekend. Lake Amistad moves into Sam Rayburn January 26th, and then moves over to my part of the woods, Lake Travis, another lake that's high. The fishing is a little tough. We'll get into that here in a minute. But February 9th, Bass Champs, February 9th for the Central Zone here for Bass Champs on Lake Travis. Texas Team Trail will be visiting Sam Rayburn February 2nd. That's an awesome trail. Cabela's Bass Pro Shops puts on, has been for years, huge money, huge fields. My favorite part about the Texas Team Trail is they got a practice day the day before. So that makes it tough. And some of these other trails that don't let you practice the day before because you're relying on the week previous. Hopefully you got out the week before. If not, 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior, knowledge, and you're kind of having to fish off the cuff. Some aspects I like fishing off the cuff, but I do like the idea of a practice day, and Texas Team Trail allows you to do that. So head down to Sam Rayburn, find one of those drains, those old drains. It has a little bit of grass in it, leading back into a spawning cove. I'm just saying. Terry Bolton figured it out. And Texas Team Trail will be starting there in February 2nd. TTZ fished it this past weekend, Lake Travis. Again, water was high. Wind started blowing in the afternoon. Kind of figured out the regular Travis pattern, catching fish on those windy secondary points, first and secondary points, if you could hold yourself on the first point, but mainly secondary points, wind blown, dragging anything you wanted to across there. I saw a lot of guys throwing Alabama rigs, a lot of guys dragging Carolina rigs. So TTZ, again, great tournament on Lake Travis to kind of kick off the year. The next one on Lake Buchanan, if you want to figure out some high water. The beautiful thing about Texas this year is we got water, and we got it everywhere. So moving into the kayak world, yes, we're going to touch on kayaks, and I've got a kayak specialist that's going to give their video rounds about all of the kayak fishing world as we progress into this Texas tournament talk. But CATS starts on January 26th. I need to give you a heads up for you kayakers on LBJ. It was blown out just a few months ago, and but they're going to go ahead and make an appearance on Lake LBJ. I'll be very interested to see how the fishing goes on Lake LBJ for the CATS tournament, kayak anglers tournament there on kayak tournament there on Lake LBJ, January 26th. Word on the street, a segment we'll be doing here on Texas Tournament Talk. Word on the street in Texas right now, Lake Falcon out there in Zapata, Texas, my favorite lake in Texas. Toledo been a comparable second. But Falcon has bedding fish. Now, maybe not sight fishing, but the fish are moving up to spawn. The big mamas are in that mode. There's bloody tails being seen on fish caught in trees, shallow. So, gosh, I got to get down there. Woo! Gets me going just thinking about it. So, Falcon right now, you want a chance at a mega giant shallow, and you're a shallow guy, that's the place to be right now. That's a word on the street. Out of the ordinary, news of the weird, another segment we'll have here on Texas Tournament Talk each. I'm thinking we're going to do Texas Tournament Talk either every other Tuesday, or it's going to be the 1st and the 15th of either month. We hadn't figured it out. This is our first go-round. Out of the ordinary, did you see that video of the Jackson Kayaks pro, FLW pro from Sam Rayburn, who was unloading his boat, has a giant RV, beautiful RV, travels all over the country in his beautiful RV, towing his bass boat, and went to launch it at Sam Rayburn. Always takes his dog with him on trail. And while he was unhooking the boat, his dog, I guess, hit the button or the lever for reverse on the RV, and the RV backed into the lake. So a scary deal. If you hadn't seen that video, it's all over social media, news sources, all over. So check it out. Man, I feel bad. Of course, I don't like to see anything bad like that happen to anybody, but man, it was wild to watch. So, and like I said, we'll be doing drama, weird, crazy news, my opinions. That's where this comes in. My most recent opinion has to do with what I've been seeing for years and years and years across the tournament trails is the big trails, the Bassmaster Elite Series, the FLW Tour, will give their schedule for the year, right? And then if they're not going out west, then I hear guys comment on, oh, here we go again. You're forgetting about us. You're not coming west again. I'm not going to watch Bassmaster again. I'm not going to, particularly Bassmaster, is where it was directed this year. The truth behind that is the anglers said no. The majority of the anglers said, I can't afford to go west. With the schedule we got, we're going to spend thousands and they're already going to travel 30, 40,000 miles this year. Travel, towing a boat across the country. And they said, we're not going to go west. We're not going to go that far west and do the western swing when 90% of your anglers are all back here, either central or east, and they just didn't want to do it. And Bassmaster listened. Can you blame them for listening to their anglers? In one aspect, you're getting guys saying, hey, Bassmaster didn't listen to their anglers for years. That's why they all left. They listened to their anglers, and guys are going, I can't believe they're not coming out here. I'm not going to support it. They can't win. Guys, give them a break. So there's a handful of guys that fish Bassmaster that are out west versus the vast majority that are central or east. It just makes sense. So give them a break. I'm sure there are big trails, Western Bass Trails, the U.S. Open out west. I mean, that's something I've thought about, making the big journey out west to fish. And so be patient, give them some time, and I'm sure they'll come back and visit. But no need to jump ship yet. Let's see what happens with all the trails as the year goes on. Another one, of course, with guys mentioning Bassmaster, not to harp on Bassmaster or anything, but, guys are saying that there's a reason they left. They've been doing this for years. This is the same thing. Guys are leaving for this or that. You don't know. You don't know why each one of those guys that decided to move tours, whether it be from FLW to Bassmaster, from Bassmaster to MLF, you have no clue. Now, you may have some buddies, a handful of buddies, but you haven't talked to each one of those anglers. I assure you, you haven't. And there's vast amount of reasons that everybody's making their switch. And, Bassmaster was acquired by some new leadership, some new ownership like a year ago. It's been a year. I mean, they're barely got their shoes wet on this deal. They're just trying to figure it out. So who's to say that the new owners weren't going to make these changes anyway? I keep saying that, keep hearing that again. They've been doing this to the anglers. They continue to do this to the anglers, blah, 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 blah. Well, you got new ownership that's just now getting in the saddle. So let's see where it goes. Let's all calm down. Let's relax, see where it goes, see what happens this year. Enjoy fishing. Get out there, find you a tournament trail near you, and let's go fishing. I'll see you on the water. Take a kid fishing. Live it, love it, learn it. I'm Cody Ryan. We'll see you on the next Texas Tournament Talk. Maybe.